Hello everyone, this is the 83rd lecture of the Semantic SEO course. In this lecture we will create one more topical map, and this topical map will be about the electric cars. We have chosen the topic of electric cars because it means we will need to create certain type of topical borders, which means that we don't focus on every type of car. We just want to create a topical map and also a source for only the specific type of cars. One more time, the source context here is a little bit blurry. I leave this choice to you. You can be an affiliate, or you can be a manufacturer even. Or you can be just a SaaS technology that compare the cars to each other. You can be even actually driving test center, whatever you want. You can even be an engineering association here. According to that, you will need to change the topical borders slightly or the prioritization. And since we focus on the electric cars, we directly start with the electric cars, but also we go for the vehicles too, which means that we will be focusing on the buses, tractors, or different types of vehicles too. We directly focus on the let's say, hyponyms and also the meronyms of the specific model or the class, because we go for the components and the parts. And we also mention the electric, environmental effect, electric cars, and also renewable energies, because in the auto section we will be focusing on this topic too. Then we go for the hybrid cars, which will be a kind of connection to the fuel cost or the fuel cars or the fossil fuel cars at the same time, because in the future sections you will realize that we will be processing certain types of attributes of the electric cars, and these things will be existing for also fuel cars too. And to be able to go to that section, we will be getting most popular and the prominent entities that actually manufactures the cars, and from them too we will be getting the most popular ones. If you see the three dots in these rows, it means that actually we will be actually processing more entities from that specific class. But for now, actually, we will be focusing on the most prominent ones as much as possible. If you see a single line, like the Fisker Ocean, for instance, or some small sections, it means that actually that entity is not prioritized for that specific context yet, and they can be actually expanded further or later at the same time. And we go for all the main car producers with all the main, let's say, entities with the high level of search demand. And while doing that, you should understand one more thing. You will need to actually complete all these subsections to be able to see a proper impression increase. If you are able to increase your impressions first, it means that search engine actually started to trust you for further rankings. So that's why before I focus on actually the click increase or the average, let's say, CTR increase, I try to focus on the query count increase and the impression increase. And that's why actually getting all these specific entities from the same class with a proper taxonomy is really important. At the same time, while taking this lecture, I can tell that my cat is actually biting my feet sometimes. That's why from time to time you can see me while smiling or looking at the around. Sorry for that. And you will need to understand the basics of the information retrieval here too, because when it comes to the product indexing, it requires to understand small numeric value differences or small punctuation differences might actually change the context in a really big time. And if you see that I am writing the love in the parentheses, it is for the Volvo cars, because I love Volvo. It is something personal. It's not about the entirely the semantics. It's just semantics for me. Sorry for that. And once we actually complete this part, we go for the electric ones, buses, tractors, scooters, motorbikes, and electric bikes, and we start to compare all these things to each other in terms of certain types of benefits functions. And from there, we also go for the electric car battery types, which is lenses for the glasses, because batteries or the better battery type, and together with the engine, together with the motor, not the engine, these are really important semantically close and the relevant sub-entities and the attributes directly for the electric car comparisons or electric car choices. Even if we choose our macro context in terms of affiliate or product reviews, let's say, or even if we choose our macro context in terms of comparisons of the cars or manufacturing these cars or just a news source, etc., these things always will be at the center. That's why we can directly tell that these are the main attributes that we will need to be focusing on always. So electric car battery types will be also focusing on the concept of lithium and lithium-ion batteries. That's why they are important. And electric car battery replacement cost, it will be a subsection there too. We will be also going for charging an electric car at home, or charging stations, or charge map and also electric car battery connectors, and there are many other sub-entities here. I have taken only the main ones, but there are more because the other ones don't require to open a new web page. And inside the topical maps, I only put the notes that require a new segment on the web source. Then we go for even electric car insurance, but it will be expanded further. That's why it's a single note. And electric car fuel cost calculator has been united with the fuel car cost calculator, or also queries like how much does it cost to charge an electric car, which is directly kept closer to the charging an electric car at home at the same time. And we go for the electric car advantages, and definitely we will need to go for also the risks, and we want to compare that. Then we also go back, and based on these advantages and risks, we also add battery life, battery maintenance, and some further sections to our topical map as well. And electric cars for kids, teenagers, or for women, these are the contexts that we can also process, but we can't go for electric car for men. And it is because of the query semantics, because it's a canonical query. When we search for the electric car, the men context is directly there, even if the search engines don't tell that, or they can play the political correctness all day long, but at the background, these canonical queries exist. And when you look at the top part, you will realize that electric car batteries, battery life, and battery types, these are actually differentiated from each other, which means that they will be different pages, because there are enough level of query variations and the search demand and the search behaviors to change them. Then we go for most expensive luxury cars, smallest electric cars, and then we go also for the cheapest one and also the biggest ones, but we don't tell biggest, we tell actually heaviest, like over 6,000 lbs. And from there we go to the topic of horsepower, because weight of the car will be connected to that as well. But you should understand one thing here. If you go for direct electric car horsepower, we will need to define the concept of horsepower, and it will be connected to the longest range or range of electric cars, and charging station locations will be connected to ranges one more time, and electric car conversion kits will be connected there too. Now we are actually going to the electric car tires, chassis, or different types of subparts, and we will expand them a little bit further. We also add the concept of driving an electric car simulator here, electric car engineer, DC to AC converter, thermal management system, transmission, onboard charger, power electronics, or control systems of a car, electric car prices. But before the prices, you should understand that these things that we have chosen here, these are like the subparts of the cars, and it will be affecting the driving experience, and it will also be affecting the price. That's why they are like at the middle. And when it comes to the prices, we go for Europe, India, Australia, China type of context, because these are easier for us to open these sections. And you should understand that we will need to multiply these also for the brands, like specific type of model prices in Europe, Australia. It might require to open new pages, but according to the source context, that the decision will need to be given. Now we go for what are the battery types, and this is most of the outer section of topical map, because we don't talk about directly the electric car batteries. We talk about overall battery types: zinc, air, carbon zinc, or silver oxide batteries, or alkaline lead acid flow batteries. Now we go for the history of cars. So you should understand that in the outer section, actually we focused on our main hypernym there, which is the cars directly. It also means that we will need to focus on the electric on a different level in our outer section of topical map as well. History of cars will require us to focus on the who invented the automobile, or who is Carl Benz, or Etienne Lenoir, Alexander Winton, or different types of people who are connected to the cars, and also certain types of, let's say, the brands. And we go for the history of electricity, and from there we also go for the Henry M. Leland or William Greener, or different types of scientists. Now we go also for the parts of car, types of cars, and these are highly similar to the electric car parts or electric car types. And it will be easier for us to actually process, let's say, regular cars or traditional old, maybe not old, but fuel cars at the same time. And from there, we will be creating these history connections for all the brands. Because if you are an authority for the brand, it means that you will be able to an authority for also the individual products and the models too. From there, we go for history of Audi, Renault, Toyota, Volvo, Kia, Nissan, Opel. Then we also explore what is German labor front, which will be connected to Louis Marcel and Fernand Renault on a different level. And then we go for the who and owns Mercedes-Benz or Carl Friedrich Benz. And we ask many other questions like who is Karl Opel, Fritz von Opel, and Ludwig Opel. Then we also ask questions for Toyota too. Now we also process the best Nissan vehicles and the cars, or Toyota vehicles and the cars. This is the best review section, but as you see, we focus on the cars, not directly the best Ford electric cars, because when you search for that, it will be like a listicle, because the most of the options, they are not that much when it comes to electric cars. They are coming like as hybrid and then recharged or full electric. It is coming also in the later option too. Based on the query semantics, it won't be the centered context there. That's why I need to divide them. And then we go for the engines. This is important. When you look at the animals, you will actually see hair. When you look at the birds, you will see feather. You can't tell that birds have hair because it's not true. Only the mammals actually have the hair. And based on that, electric cars actually have motors. And when it comes to the cars, they have the engine. So based on this, you can understand that engine or motor, these are lenses like the glasses, for the glasses. That's why we directly actually focus on the different types of car engines, and we write every type of engine here as much as, or as long as they have a certain type of, let's say, search demand, like V8, V12, boxer engine, starting engine, electric motor work. And this is important because we directly tell that electric motor. And here I add a question mark, because when you have electricity, it's a little bit hard to tell that it is directly a motor. Then from here we see liquid petroleum gas or LPG engine work, or gas turbine work, etc. The question of how does it work, it doesn't reflect entirely the macro context. It just gives a contextual hint for us. And from there we even search for, let's say, certain type of cycle engines, and we also search certain types of stroke engines, and we also add the rocket engine with the name of reaction engine, but we change its space, or let's say location, a little bit further, because we will need to connect it in a different way. And we also process the steam engine too. It will be connected to history of cars at the same time. So X configuration, Y configuration engines also are processed, and compressed natural gas or CNG engine has been added there too. Whenever we add a specific type of engine to the top, we also expand our author section of topical map even further with certain types of definitions or definitive concepts. Then we also go for the electric car motors. And in this area, we see that we have some certain types of motors that we can directly compare to the engines with certain types of sub-attributes. And these sub-attributes or derived attributes might be the cylinder, or it might be the watt, or it might be the cost, or it might be the range effect, or many things that we will need to be processing. And here we actually process a linear induction or induction motor, or linear synchronous induction motor, or homopolar motor, and closed pole motor, and etc. Then we also go for the electrostatic motor, and whenever we have the specific concept of electrostatic in a similar or connected concept like magnet, restrictive, or piezoelectric motor, we actually classify them under that. We also add what does electrostatic mean directly to do our author section further. And idleness motor, half effect motor, sonic, ultrasonic, micromotor, nanomotor, or electrothermal motor, or thermoelectric, or thermionic motor. We add all these things to our topical map as well. If you're able to be an authority for the brands and history of the car, parts of the car, and motor and the engine at the same time, it will be very much easier for ranking for individual product reviews at the same time too. The historical data you will be getting from this part, especially in the context of performance of the car, it will be helping for overall rankings. You should also understand one thing: whenever we add something to the end of the topical map, we go to the top and we continue to change these sections as well. And if you look at here, for instance, when we ask the questions like car suspension, or which requires us to process the subparts of the, or let's say, meronyms of the car, and from there we even go for the brake systems, or oil filter, air filter, or AC compressor, or powered steering rack, or many other sections. One more time, according to the source context, the definitions, associations will be changing. Let's say you are just a car repairment center, or you can be different types of, or you can have different types of source context here. And according to the author sections or topical borders or prioritizations, one more time, they will be changing slightly. We also process the parking sensors or self-parking feature, hill start assist, or many other things like ball joints. And we also go for the, let's say, electronic brake force distribution, and some other things like inferior comfort rated things like car GPS, blind spot monitoring, or types of car seats, luggage carrier. And one more time, let's say you're an affiliate, you will need to focus on price more, which means that all these subparts, the prioritized attribute will be the price, and you will need to fill your website with the actual currencies or the money related things as much as possible. Then we also asked let's say, what is lithium? It will be used especially for the batteries. And we asked the lithium question 2 times, not because we repeat the same topic, because we will need to be focusing on a different thing. In the first one, we can define the element. In the second one, we can actually go for the uses of the lithium in medicine and also, let's say, in industrial markets. At the same time, it will be defined later. Then even the stock market, let's say, for electronic cars or electric car statistics, or even the highway or highway capable, meaning of the highway capable, or electronic vehicle range extender, electric car clubs, electric car association. We go for them. And right now we are just fixing the overall, let's say, look of the specific topical map. And as you see, from motors to the engines, from brake systems to the elements, history of these brands, or even their founders, and history of electric or scientists, and also every brand, every model, and hybrid cars or their, let's say, range calculations or charging methodologies or even connectors. And all these things also will need to be added to the individual product reviews or the definitions at the same time. And from there, we will be collecting all this historical data that shows actually high level of, let's say, click satisfaction. And then from there, the search engine will realize to perform the ranking. If you hear my cat, Sherlock, I'm sorry for that. But we already nearly came to the end, I can tell. So, thanks for the listening. Just complete the topical map and then let us know. So, in the next one, you will see how to create a content brief from scratch. And let's go.